All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the fifth step. Yes, the fifth step, the fifth video. The reason why I'm asking that question is because if you remember, I had to change the order of some things. So if you heard in the third video that I was saying is the second, and the third video I was saying is the fourth, it's because or vice versa, the gain staging video had to go in step 2. So this is actually the fifth video in the series. During this video, what I'm going to show you how to do is how to scrub EQ. I like to mix, especially on a very simple DAW like this one, I like to mix by putting in some things where I take out sounds that I don't like out of the different tracks. And then before I put on any compression, before I do anything to sweeten the sound with another EQ or parallel compression or anything like that. So what I'm going to do first is listen to the track in solo. This is the only EQing I do in solo. When you're EQing later on to make things sound better, you want to make it sound better as it fits in the mix. So you want to do it as you're opening up stuff and bringing out the mix, and like if you're going to be adjusting the vocals, maybe you've already got the kick drum in, maybe you've already got the bass in, and that's where you sweeten the sound, because you don't want to make it based on is this the perfect vocal sound, you want to make, or is this the perfect guitar sound. You want to make it based on is this the sound that works for this project. But when you're scrubbing, yeah, you want to get rid of stuff, and doing it in solo is probably the best way. So the first thing we're going to need to do is add a channel strip in this, because you don't have a dedicated equalizer in Studio One Prime. So right now you're thinking, but Mr. Jasper, how do I do that? I don't see where to put it. We're getting ready to do vocals. Let's put it on the vocal track, right? So great, but where does it go? Well, if you come over here, this thing will make it extend out so you can see the inserts and the sending for busing. So we're going to need to put that in there. Another way you can find that, if this isn't here, you can find it in the information for the track. So you can click over here and turn on the inspector. So you can click on this and add a thing to a single track. Like right now it's set on the drums one, because that's the track I've selected. So let's select the vocals, and here's where I could add a solo for that, right? But I find it easier just to do this in the main mixing window. So I just make my track larger. If you want to make them thinner, you can do that, but it's hard. You can't really see where the inserts are. So I usually like the wider view and the taller view. And then in here, I can hit plus to add a channel strip. Come on now. That's not what I wanted. So let's remove. This is how you get rid of a plugin. Boop, remove. So I go down here again, hit this, and go to channel strip. Okay, so in here we have a low cut, high pass, however you want to think of it, filter. You've got a compressor that has just basically an attack time and how much you want to compress. And then here's an expander, which really we're not going to be worried about in what we're doing. And then over here you have a sweepable low, mid, and high EQ. And then you also have a gain where you can just add or subtract gain. Now this is after this, so that's why I wanted to do it before our gain staging. I suppose you could have put this in and just used the gain, but the more channel strips you put in, the more it drains the system processes. So you only want to put in as many channel strips as you need to, and since we only have a 3-band equalizer to play with, and this one is rolling off on the front and that one's rolling off on the rear, really you only have one that you can sweep with. So so that being said, I would, sometimes you're going to need to put in multiples of these just for EQing purposes, so you can adjust multiple things. Now, the first thing is, vocals don't need really super low sounds. There's no usable information in there. The only thing that'd be in there is maybe the hum from the air handlers, or if someone kicks the mic stand or bumps into the mic stand, you get a boom, right? And a way to get rid of that is this. Here we've got this low cut filter. That's what I'm going to start with first. So as I'm listening to the vocals here, let's just make a loop right here. Listen to some vocals. Turn on my loop. Now, what I like to do is turn this on until I hear it digging into the sound.
Filled him up to the top. I've seen your face.
See how it's starting to get thinner?
I've seen your face.
So I bring it back.
I've seen your face. I've seen your face. I've seen your face.
I'm going to listen to that again.
I've seen your face. I've seen your face. Laughing Phillips, was it you who took the dog?
So I'm not really hearing any real appreciable difference between no filter and about 80 hertz.
I've seen your face.
So what that means is that's not stuff that's really affecting my track. However, there will be some information in that area. There will be some things that are affecting every other channel, that's eating up space where the kick and the bass can sit. So I might as well cut those out first. That's the first thing I'm doing when I'm scrubbing. I just kind of slice out the low cut. Now, the other thing that I do is I listen and I think, what in this sound don't I like? Or do I like it all? If it's fine, I add my low cut filter and I'm done. But if it's not, then I need to find where the frequencies are that I don't like. And I think there's a bit of a nasal frequency that I'm hearing, kind of a buzzy nasal frequency, probably somewhere in the mids to upper mids, somewhere in here. And the way I find that frequency to find out what I want to cut is I take this and I sweep it all the way up, so that it's going to be really aggressive. Now this is going to kind of sound terrible all over the place, but we're going to find out where it sounds worse, where it's really that sound that's bothering me. And the way I'm going to do that is, now that it's turned all the way up, so it's giving me plus 18 decibels, this is going to clip, it will. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sweep this back and forth until I can find what frequencies I don't like in here.
I've seen your face. I've seen your face. I've seen your face.
Okay, so that's the frequency I don't like. So what I do then is I take the mid and I bring it down. Now it doesn't have to be much. If I cut 4 decibels, that's a really hard sweep. Ah, that's a little better. If you turn off adaptive EQ, it'll close up the Q a little bit. So let's hear that.
I've seen your face.
Yeah, that's better. So if I listen to it with it on, this is the bypass button.
I've seen your face. Laughing Phillips, was it you who took the dog, took him down to the dock?
See how it gets rid of that little bit of nasal frequency that I don't like? And that's what I'm going to do for every channel. I'm going to put on a channel strip, find the stuff I don't like, solo it, find the stuff I don't like, adjust a low cut filter. You might not want to put low cut filter on your kick drum or your bass, but all the rest of the tracks can use some amount of cutting off the top. So that's scrubbing. All right, cool. Thanks.